Welcome into Ryan Jacobson Weather. Hope your day's off to a great start. Let's hop right into the forecast for today. And as you can see, we have a thunderstorm complex moving across the central U.S. as I currently speak. And this is really the start of our severe weather outbreak, and possibly could be a severe weather marathon going into this week, into early next week. As unfortunately, that severe weather threat is really ramping up here as we close out the month of April. So let's hop right into the forecast for today. This is the current look right now, and as you can see, we have a low pressure situated over northern Nebraska. There already is some thunderstorms out there this morning. None of these are going to be severe, but there is some stronger thunderstorms already out and about across portions of Missouri as well as Kansas, going as well into Illinois. Let me push this forward for you guys. This is going to this afternoon here, and you can see our storms and our severe weather threat is going to fire off this afternoon, going into this evening across Iowa, going back into Minnesota, as well as northern Wisconsin. There is an enhanced risk for severe weather tonight. This was just upgraded by the SPC, the Storm Prediction Center, and I'll go more in detail on that here in a second. Our severe weather threat is really just going to be contained to Minnesota, going into Iowa, as well as Wisconsin. Those are kind of the states under the gun for severe weather tonight. And then we also have, a possibility of some snow here across portions of Wyoming, going back into Utah, as well as Colorado. And that's going to continue over the next couple of days here. And those snow totals could add up, especially in the highest terrain. This is going into Friday. So this is now Friday evening here. You can see we have a secondary low developing here, kind of in northern Texas. It's going to fire off a whole nother line of thunderstorms, ranging all the way from, going up into Michigan, all the way back down to Texas here. And this is really going to be our severe weather threat going into Friday. And it's going to go into Friday night and into Saturday morning as well. So some of this could be a nocturnal threat for severe weather. And then as you can see here, this is now going into Saturday. These storms refire off here back to the south, this time even a little bit more further to the south as we have another low pressure developing, this time, maybe even in Mexico at this point. But yeah, more severe storms from Indiana back down into central Texas on Saturday going into Sunday. You can see there is going to be a low pressure system swinging through here, bringing some cooler temperatures to portions of Maine. Could even be some snow along with this, but it looks like it's going to be pretty short-lived precipitation-wise and snow-wise, but an inch or two of snow is possible. Here we go. Here's 999, so now we have a stronger low pressure developing here. This is on Sunday afternoon here, and there's our next severe weather threat. This is Easter Sunday, and this looks like a concerning sight. You kind of got that warm sector right here, these storms firing off. To be honest, as of now, if I had to guess, it looks like Sunday has the highest potential for seeing widespread severe weather, as this just doesn't look like a good sight on the models. But obviously, things can change here as we are still 3 days out. I'll push this forward for you guys. Maybe even a little snow here up into portions of northern Michigan and northern Minnesota and northern Wisconsin going into Easter Sunday evening here. This is now going into Monday. And it looks like our severe weather threat may be pretty non-existent on Monday. But going back into Tuesday here, we have a whole nother line of storms firing off from Wisconsin all the way back down into southern Texas. It looks like our severe weather threat's just going to continue to ramp up from there. This is now going to Wednesday here. More storms here on Wednesday. Again, large portions of the country. It looks like we may have another low pressure developing here. This is now going into Thursday. Let me play this back for you guys. This is now going into Thursday here. And here's our next severe weather threat going into Thursday. And then Friday. So these storms look to continue to just be firing off here this next week, as it looks like we are going to have many chances for seeing severe weather, unfortunately, over these next 10 days or so. So this is the day one outlook, and as you can see, there is an enhanced risk for severe weather. A very small risk for enhanced risk for severe weather, but there is an enhanced risk. This includes portions of Iowa going back into Nebraska. And some of the bigger locations in this is Omaha, Nebraska, and Lincoln, Nebraska. Again, there is a 5% risk for tornadoes today. So tornado risk is, I guess, a little bit lower for an enhanced risk for severe weather. But again, that wind risk is 15%, but this is really going to be driven by large hail. There's a 30% hatched risk for severe hail today. So be weather aware if you're in those areas, as there could be some very, very large and damaging hail. Let me push this into tomorrow for you guys. This is the day 2 outlook here. And as you can see, we have that slight risk ranging all the way from Michigan back into central Texas. Again, as of now, we just have a 2% tornado risk, which is obviously a good thing. We have a 15% wind risk, as well as a 15% hatched risk for severe hail, especially for portions of Texas and Oklahoma. I think we're going to see some, severe weather tomorrow. I think it's going to be pretty scattered severe weather, but I do think we're going to see some severe weather ranging all the way from Michigan back into Texas going into tomorrow. Let me show you that day 3 outlook with that slight risk a little bit further to the east and a little bit further south. This is from Texas going back into Missouri here. We have that marginal risk stretching all the way up into southern Pennsylvania. As of now, we just have that 15% risk, and we'll obviously keep you updated on that. And let's go to Easter Sunday, and this is our day 4 risk. I really do believe this is the greatest potential for seeing severe weather this week, as we have that 15% slight risk on Easter Sunday. We'll obviously keep you updated with the latest information each and every day, as just a lot of severe weather that we have to unfortunately cover. Here's the temperatures expected over the next couple of days. Let me play this forward for you guys. A little chilly here across the Northeast, but it's going to warm up nicely. This is going now into Friday here. It's going to be really nice, especially with portions of Texas here. You're looking at highs in the mid to upper 90s, maybe even approaching 100 degrees there in southern Texas. This is going into Saturday here. So it's going to be pretty nice. Maybe, like I said, there's that minor cool down for areas across the Northeast going into the New England region especially. But I think it's going to warm right back up here. This is Monday the 21st, Tuesday the 22nd. And it just looks to be a beautiful day, I guess, on Tuesday across the U.S. Here's the total precipitation expected over the next couple of days. Let me play this forward for you guys. If it'll load, there we go. This is going into this afternoon, going into tomorrow. There's that first low pressure system moving through. There's kind of that second round of storms moving through. This is now Easter Sunday here. There's another round of storms. So you can see these thunderstorms, there's going to be multiple rounds of some thunderstorms. Obviously, some of these could be severe, but they all are going to bring some heavy rainfall with them. And a couple areas that could see some very heavy precip. It's going to be portions of northern central Texas back in to basically central Illinois. And you can see that swath there of, good 3 to even up to maybe, 4 or 5 inches of rainfall. So we'll be watching that closely because there's going to be a potential for some flooding in those areas. And that is all the way through Wednesday, or let me push this forward for a little bit. That's all the way through Wednesday, the 23rd here. I'm putting out some pretty decent numbers here, over 5 inches of rain, 6 inches of rain. So we'll keep you updated on that for the potential of flooding. Let me lastly show you the expected snowfall over the next couple of days. As I said, there is going to be some pretty decent snow here across portions of the Rockies today through Saturday. And as you can see, portions of Montana going back into Wyoming, as well as Utah, Colorado, and even the high mountainous terrain of Arizona is going to pick up on some pretty decent snowfall. Basically, the whole state of Wyoming is going to see snowfall from this event. And some of the high terrain here could see, up to 2 feet of snow. So obviously, be weather aware if you're in those areas, but could be pretty decent skiing conditions here this next week across the Rockies in the west. So yeah, pretty decent snowfall for April. Let me push this forward for you guys. Again, maybe a dusty snow here going into Easter here across portions of Maine. And then there's that swath of snow. And they showed this, the Europeans showed this on the model run yesterday. Kind of a little bit of a swath of snow developing here. Again, take it with a grain of salt. But again, maybe a little bit of a possibility for an inch or two of snow here across portions of Minnesota going back into northern Wisconsin from Monday going into Tuesday. And again, that's kind of it for snow expected over the next, 10 days or so. Is really that winter is unfortunately winding down. I'm a snow lover, so it's sad to not see much snow as now we're going into the summertime, but I think it was a good winter season. I thank you guys all for stopping by. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day today. Can you just keep checking back for daily updates on the weather ahead? Appreciate all you guys, subscribing and liking and helping out the channel. In any way you can do that, it really helps, and I really appreciate it. Again, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the video tomorrow. Have a good one.